All right, hey, shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the elect out there, scattered wherever you may be. May Yahweh Shai bless you and your household, and may you continue to endure. Shalom to you, Akim, on the highways and byways, week in and week out, presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice, as Yahweh Shai commanded us to do. May you also continue to endure, and may Yahweh Shai bless you and your household. All right, is your brother the Bakia from the Sons of Yasharala GMS Colorado Springs Camp, coming to you again with another live lesson. And I pray that you're edified because that's what it's about. Edification, right? Edification and exhortation. All right. As of late, the Rakah Kodash, also known as the Holy Spirit, has been having me go into these ancient articles and ancient reads about, our ancestors, the slaves of America, Yahweh, which stands for Judah. All right, you so-called Negroes descend from the tribe of Judah. You're a Judite. All right, you're a Hebrew Israelites from the head tribe. So-called Latinos come from the tribe of Issachar, Issacharites. Okay, you so-called Native Americans come from the tribe of Gad. You're Gadites or Reuben, which are the Seminole Indians. All right, but nonetheless, as I've been going into these historical articles and seeing what they did to our ancestors, Jake, I it's nice because there's movies out there now that show and exemplify what they did to our ancestors. All right, so with that being said, I watched a movie by the name of The Birth of a Nation, which was about Nat Turner, who was a so-called black man who descended from the tribe of Judah. All right, and it shows the oppression and the hell that the Edomites were putting him through while he was on earth. Needless to say, when it was all said and done, he prayed to Yahweh Shai to put the spirit of revenge on him, and that's exactly what happened. All right, he led one of the first slave revolts in America. Okay, he was trying to liberate Jake, so-called blacks, all right, from their oppressors and from slavery. All right, in fact, he put hella Edomites to death. That spirit of vengeance was on him. All right, he had that liberation spirit. He woke up to the truth. So right here, Spirit had me go to this. All right, I said, "What is the slave Bible?" In Google, and it says, select parts of the Holy Bible for the use of the Negro slaves in the British West India Islands. Okay, the select parts of the Holy Bible for the use of the Negro slaves in the British West India Islands, sometimes referred to as the Slave Bible, is an abbreviated version of the Bible specifically made for teaching pro-slavery version of Christianity to enslave people in the British West Indies. That's why Elder Apostle Tahar and all the elders on down refer to Christianity as plantation Christianity, okay? Because our people are still in that slave mindset, in that slave mind frame, okay? They want to save Whitey. They think that the one who the world ignorantly calls God loves everybody. Okay, you are in a slave mindset. And that's why Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai has to destroy 2/3 of his own people because you just won't get it on this side. You're not meant to get it. You're not alive to get it. That's why Yahweh Shai is going to put a lot of you Israelites to death. All right, but this is proof that Esau, Edom is the devil. He took out scriptures from the King James Version Bible to and influence and basically lie about slavery. All right, and to lie to he basically he removed from the book. It says, "Cursed be he who addeth or removeth from the book." Okay, you Edomites are cursed for lying. All right, just to have us in the slaves or in a plantation, picking your cotton. Okay, looking for your uh toil in your ground. All right, no shoes on. Okay, having your way with our women. You Edomites have to pay. All right, and you will pay. But let's see what else the slave Bible is. Then we're going to get to these scripts. Slave Bible from the 1800s. Omitted key passages that could incite rebellion. We all know, especially if you're in the truth, that rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft. Okay, we here at GMS, we don't teach rebellion. We are against all that rebellion. But nonetheless, there was a time and place for everything. Jake had to be liberated back then, and a spirit of vengeance, all right, of war, hopped onto Nat Turner. All right, right here, let's get it. This is from NPR.org. On display at the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C., is a special exhibit centered on a rare Bible from the 1800s that was used by British missionaries to convert and educate slaves. All right. Screenshot that if you have to. We pulling out receipts on Esau Edom, self-proclaimed white man on a damn devil. He's the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, Exodus, it looks like that's chapter 19, which had nothing to do with you Edomites. On display now at the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C. is a special exhibit centered on a rare Bible from the 1800s that was used by British missionaries. All right, we all know that there is no such thing as British. They're all Edomites, okay? The Edomite missionaries to convert and educate slaves. What's notable about this Bible is not just its rarity, but its content, or rather the lack of content. It excludes any portion of text that might inspire rebellion or liberation. All right, now we got that. Right here. Here's another key point. About 90% of the Old Testament is missing because that Old Testament reveals who the Edomites are. All right, it reveals who Esau is. It reveals who the nations are. All right, we're blessed now in this generation because we have the whole book and it's opened unto us. All right, about 90% of the Old Testament is missing and 50% of the New Testament is missing. Schmidt says, put in another way, there are 1,189 chapters in a standard Protestant Bible. This Bible contains only 232. All right, Esau Edom must go into slavery for his wrongdoings towards the children of Israel. Okay, now we're going to go get some information on Nat Turner. All right. I guess we'll start here. We'll read this, we'll read some of this, and we'll get the scriptures. Because Nat Turner had the spirit on him, the spirit of vengeance. All right, Nat Turner's Revolt, 1831. This is an actual man who existed, and he got hung on a tree by these Edomites once they found him. All right, Horde Massacre in Virginia. Putting these Edomites to death, right? Hey. This is righteous too, according to the law. You Edomites should be afraid. Nobody on this earth likes you. Horde Massacre in Virginia. A woodcut depicts scenes from the revolt of the enslaved led by Nat Turner in Southampton County in 1831. A key at the bottom describes events during this short-lived insurrection. On the upper panel of the illustration from left to right, a mother pleads for her children. Two men killed their Edomite enslaver, and a husband feeds off attack so that his wife and child can escape. On the lower panel of the illustration, mounted soldiers chase the rebels. This fold-out woodcut served as the footpiece for a book by Samuel Warner, authentic and impartial narrative of the tragical scene which was witnessed in Southampton County, Virginia on Monday, the 22nd of August last, when 55 of its inhabitants, mostly women and children, scriptures say slay utterly both young and old, women and children. That's in Ezekiel. That's what's going to happen again. You Edomites are going to be slayed. And then Yahweh Shah is going to slay you Edomites utterly old, and you women and children, plus you two-thirds. Nothing new under the sun. The inhabitants were inhumanly massacred by the so-called blacks. All right. So, yes. Let's see. Bible. Nat Turner Bible. We'll go right here. See? We're in the age of information. All this information is accessible to you. You just got to research. Wow. Right here. Nat Turner's Bible gave the enslaved rebel the resolve to rise up. All right. A Bible. This is from the Smithsonian magazine. A Bible belonging to the enslaved Turner spoke of possibility, says curator Rex Ellis of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. There's no such thing as African American, okay? We're different shades of brown. We're Israelites. We are Israelites from the tribe of Judah, you so-called blacks out there. All right, we're not two continents, first of all. Africa comes from the man whose name is Africonius Sippiconius, Africonius Sippiconi. It's been a while since I went into that name. Look it up. And then, what's his name? America comes from America Vespucci. All right, that's where America comes from. They're both Edomites. That name African Sippiconius, he's an Edomite, and America Vespucci is also an Edomite. All right, this is all planned out. It is thought that Nat Turner, look at this, peep this. It is thought that Nat Turner was holding this Bible when he was captured 2 months after the rebellion he led against slaveholders in Southampton County. All right, let's get into it. On November 5th, 1831, when Judge Jeremiah Cobb of Southampton County, Virginia, sentenced slave rebel Nat Turner to death by hanging, he ordered the Commonwealth to reimburse the estate of Turner's slaughtered master as a confiscated chattel. Turner's life was valued at $375. 6 days later, the 30-year-old Turner was hanged and his body mutilated by his powerful legacy transcended the punishments. All right. Let's see. Get into it. It's not really. Hold up. Bear with me. I gotta find this article I was reading. Right here. How did Nat Turner use the Bible? Nat Turner's Bible served as his guide to understanding his special relation with God. All right, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai woke Nat Turner up to his true nationality and revealed to him that he was an Israelite, and that is not how we were supposed to be treated, okay? So he prayed to Yahweh Bahashem Shai to send him signs, and Yahweh Bahashem Shai sent him signs, all right? Studies have shown he's seen a so-called UFO plus a full moon. Okay, he's probably seen chariots. Who knows? All right, Yahweh Shemai Shai reveals chariots to his children. All right, and who are his children? The children of Israel. Okay, but next thing, before we get to these scriptures, we have to understand that all of this was prophesied by our forefather Moses when he talked about the curses that the children of Israel will get if they did not keep the law, statutes, and commandments, okay? And that's what happened to Nat Turner, and that's what happened to our ancestors, a.k.a. the slaves, all right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verses 15 through 68. All right, we'll stop because that's a lot of verses. You can go read it, but let's get it. These are first of all, These are the curses, excuse me. These are the blessings that are going to come to us in the kingdom, which will be here on earth. All right. We are still underneath Esau Edom, so we're still in captivity. But let's get it. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. Blessings for obedience. If you fully obey the Lord your Lord Yahweh, your power, and carefully keep all his commands that I am giving you today, the Lord Yahweh, your power, will set you high above all the nations of the world. You will experience all these blessings if you obey the Lord Yahweh, your power. Okay, we have to be obedient in this thing. Now that we have woke up, we have to be praying, fasting, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, and just acknowledging Yahweh Bashim Shai, keeping the high holy days to the best of our ability, and staying away from folly. Okay, so that we being part of the hopeful elect can receive these blessings or be alive to witness these blessings. Verse 3. Your towns and your fields will be blessed. This is not the case for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans right now. Your children and your crops will be blessed. The offspring of your herds and flocks will be blessed. Your fruits and breadboards will be blessed. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you will be blessed. That is what happens when we keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. We are blessed, all right? But ultimately, this is involving the whole nation of Israel. This is how we were supposed to be, but we went off, okay? Our ancestors, all right? And potentially us back then, because reincarnation is biblical. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 7. The Lord Yahweh will conquer your enemies when they attack you. They will attack you from one direction, but will scatter from you in seven. All right, verse 8. The Lord Yahweh will guarantee a blessing on everything you do and will fill your storehouses with grain. The Lord Yahweh, your power, will bless you in the land he has given you. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 9. If you obey the commands of the Lord Yahweh, your power, and walk in his ways, the Lord Yahweh will establish you as his holy people, as he swore he would do. We are his holy people. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 10. Then all the nations of the world will see that you are a people claimed by the Lord Yahweh, and they will stand in awe of you. Wow. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 11. The Lord Yahweh will give you prosperity in the land he swore to your ancestors to give you, blessing you with many children, numerous livestock, and abundant crops. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 12. The Lord Yahweh will send rain at the proper time from his rich treasury in the heavens, and will bless all the work you do. Will lend to many nations, but you will lend to many nations, but you will never need to borrow from them. That's not the case right now. This is how we know we are the Israelites. We borrow from every single nation on earth, right? The heathen, all right? Elam, East Indians have a store right there in Jake Hood, right there in our hood on the corner, okay? Selling snacks, selling this, selling that. You never see a so-called black man, native man, or a Latino man who constantly have these businesses in these lower end areas. There's always a heathen, all right, an Edomite, all right. It's right now it's Hamites all over the place, especially starting with you Cushites, you Ethiopians, all right, running the liquor stores now, selling Jake poison. Okay, we have to buy our liquor from heathens. Imagine that, but you don't have to imagine it. This is literally our reality. All right, continuing on. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 13. If you listen to these commands of the Lord Yahweh, your power, that I am giving you today, and if you carefully obey them, the Lord Yahweh will make you the head and not the tail, and you will always be on top and never at the bottom. Once again, not the case. We are cursed right now. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 14. All right, the final parts of the blessings. You must not turn away from any of the commands I am giving you today, nor follow after other gods and worship them. And that's all you Israelites do, you Jakes do, is follow other gods. Who are these other gods? Caesar Borgia, the fake god Allah. Okay, Shiva. Okay, Kemet, just black unconscious culture, okay, the unconscious movement, okay, pan-liberals, all right, you, what else do they have? All this madness, the FABA, F foundational, FBA, foundational black American, just crap. You're not following Yahweh Bashim Shai because you're cursed. If you're not, I'm gonna say it again. If you're not following Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, which means his son's name, you are cursed. Continuing on. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. What does it say right here at the top? Curses for disobedience. Continue on. But if you refuse to listen to the Lord Yahweh your power and do not obey all the commands and decrees I am giving you today, all these curses will come and overwhelm you. Right? These curses will overwhelm you if you don't keep these laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. If you're not taking heed to Yahweh Bashim Shai's doctrine. Okay, if you think the law is done away with, you will be overwhelmed by this life. Verse 16, your towns and your fields will be cursed. Your fruit baskets and breadboards will be cursed. Your children and your crops will be cursed. The offspring of your herds and flocks will be cursed. Wherever you go and whatever you do, you will be cursed. Gotta screenshot that one. Verse 20, the Lord Yahweh himself will send on you curses, confusion, and frustration in everything you do, until at last you are completely destroyed for doing evil and abandoning me. All right. You're an evil person if you abandon Yahweh Shai Shai. You're an evil person if you heard this gospel and you turned your head to it. You're abandoning Yahweh Shai. He's going to destroy you with confusion and frustration in every single thing you do. There's no escaping Yahweh Shai or his judgment. Verse 21, the Lord Yahweh will afflict you with diseases until none of you are left in the land you are about to enter and occupy. And that happened in the Dark Ages. All right. What happened? The Black Plague, because those Jakes back there got prideful and cocky. They weren't keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments. It was just ultimately their time to go out of power, and it was time for Esau, Edom to rise to power. Because right after the Dark Ages, you have the Renaissance era. All right. Like our elders always say, that word Renaissance goes back to rebirth. It was the rebirth of what? Rebirth of Esau, Edom, because he came out of those caves. All right, the Caucasus Mountains, Mount Seir. All right, then he started to spread and procreate. This is all history. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 22. The Lord Yahweh will strike you with wasting, diseases, fever, and inflammation, with scorching heat and drought, and with blight and mildew. These disasters will pursue you until you die. And that's what happened to those slaves back in less than 200 years ago in those fields. All right, those curses were pursuing them until they died because of their disobedience. All right, the transatlantic slave trade, right? The Spanish slave trade. Okay, the sub-Saharan slave trade, where they had you so-called blacks. When I say they, I'm talking about you Ishmaelites. Those Ishmaelites, all right, had you Negroes in slavery for 1,000 years, but nobody wants to talk about that. And you just look so damn stupid partaking in the religion, being a Muslim. That shit is off and you're cursed. Continuing on. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 23. The skies above will be as unyielding as bronze, and the earth beneath will be as hard as iron, right? The Lord Yahweh will change the rain that falls on your land into powder, and dust will pour down from your sky until you are destroyed. Verse 25, the Lord Yahweh will cause you to be defeated by your enemies. And who was our enemy? And who is still our enemy? Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. The same motherfucker who had us in slavery. All right? Across the world. That's who our enemy is. And he was set up by Yahweh, okay, because of our disobedience. This is simple math. This is milk, y'all. Let's get that verse again. The Lord Yahweh will cause you to be defeated by your enemies. You will attack your enemies from one direction, but you will scatter from them in seven. You will be an object of whore to all the kingdoms of the earth. You Israelites, you nigger women, you Keishas, you big Keishas, you fucking Pookies, you young niggas. All right, you're whores to this whole world. Now they got this term called black fatigue. All right, where these nations are just pissed off by you niggas. We're pissed off by you niggas. We can't stand you niggas. All right, you're just monkeys, and you're off, and you have demons on you. Right, and fuck you if you don't want to come into this truth. You will be an object of horror to all the kingdoms of the earth. Your corpses will be food for all the scavenging birds and wild animals, and no one will be there to chase them away. Verse 27, the Lord Yahweh will afflict you with the boils of Egypt and with tumors, scurvy, and the itch from which you cannot be cured. The Lord Yahweh will strike you with madness, blindness, and panic. You will grope around in broad daylight like a blind person groping in darkness, but you will not find your way. You will be oppressed and robbed continually, and no one will come to save you. All right. I'm going to wrap up this lesson. But look, this is basic math in this truth. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 15 through 68, right? These curses only apply to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and I use Nat Turner as an example, okay? He was in slavery because of his disobedience, but ultimately, Yahweh Shai woke him up to this truth so we can wake up to this truth and be led to this truth and use his life as an example. All right. I pray that you were edified by this quick little lesson. I'm going to close it out by saying, Call Halal Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakah Kodash. I pray that you were edified. Shalom.